Hello and welcome one and all to Rambling RunOff. Once again, we are here today to give you sports news you need to hear and not just a regular sports news podcast. Today, we are having a podium show this week as the NBA playoffs are about to go underway. As of this recording, they will start, I believe, Thursday the 1st, off the top of my head, which is, yes, the 1st, June 1st, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, where we will have the Denver Nuggets face off against the Miami Heat to crown this year's NBA championship. And to help me, as always, explain the crazy turning NBA basketball world, please introducing Danny Tan. Danny, say what's up to the people.
What up, y'all?
Yes, we're here today to just talk some b-ball basketball on the court with everybody this week. As I've mentioned before in the past, it's a podium show, so that means we're only going to be talking one thing. That's it. And this week we're talking NBA basketball. Danny, how does that sound to you?
You know, I'm always down to talk ball.
I know you're always down to talk ball. That's why we're having this podium show. If anything, the NBA is what kind of started this podcast in a way during that summer. You feel me?
Yeah, for sure.
So it just feels right that we're going to finally give it its due. I know I've been holding off on doing basketball podium shows. We did the play-in tournament one. Well, it's already been like a month and a half ago almost. Feels like forever. But yeah, now we're here. We're at the NBA Finals. It should be a good time. Like I said, we have the Denver Nuggets versus the Miami Heat. So we're going to go over who we think is going to win, what players we think are going to stand out. We're going to quickly go over how these two teams got here from their respective conferences, since we didn't have an episode last week as of this recording. So yeah, I hope you guys are buckled in, sitting down, chilling, and whatever. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this next hour or so of basketball talk here. But Danny, are you prepared to dive into the NBA Finals now?
Of course. I wish it was today or tomorrow, but we gotta wait till Thursday. Give those guys some time to rest.
What, you're trying to do like a live stream or what?
Damn, no. That's kind of crazy. Damn, I want to try and enjoy the game.
Of course we'll enjoy the game. We'll enjoy the game and watch the game, and people can watch us enjoy the game.
Maybe.
Maybe next time. But yeah, we're gonna be talking basketball now. So you ready?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty then. So like I said, we're just gonna go over very quickly, how did the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat get to where they are now? In short, Danny, let's go over the Nuggets' Western Conference victory win over the Los Angeles Lakers, in which the Nuggets swept King James and his court 4-0. Yep. As they, I would say, easily defeated the Los Angeles Lakers in 4 games. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, handedly put away the Lakers, yes, sir.
No, yeah, because the first 2 games, the Nuggets just had their number.
Yep.
In the 3rd game, the Lakers kind of held on, but their shooting just wasn't there.
Yeah,
and then, of course, in Game 4, they had a comeback.
Yeah.
They were in it. They had one shot, but King James was just shut down that day.
No. And Game 3 should have never been that close. The Nuggets let the Lakers back in that game, and vice versa. In Game 4, the Lakers let the Nuggets back in, and then the Nuggets took it to sweep. But yeah, the Nuggets are just so deep and versatile, and the Lakers they couldn't shoot consistently. D'Lo disappeared this whole series. Austin Reeves might have been the most consistent player on the floor. Where you needed Anthony Davis to shine, he did what he was supposed to do. I'll say, other than Austin Reeves getting to the hole, getting fouls, and providing consistent offense, he did what he needed to. Rui Hachimura, the Lakers thought they had him. Put Rui on Jokic, but it didn't work out. Yeah, Jokic is just he's too good of a passer as a big. You put Rui on him or you double him, it creates a lot of holes elsewhere that he knows where to shove the rock. But yeah, I mean, I think the Lakers just needed to shoot better. It's a story that we'll talk about a little later in the Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah, shooting just really hurt, especially from beyond the arc. Really hurt the Lakers. Yeah, and Jamal Murray, man, that man caught fire this whole series. Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't the MVP. It was probably pretty close voting. I forget what the voting was to have Jokic be the Finals MVP, but or the Western Conference Finals MVP.
I mean, Jokic had like triple doubles in all the games,
Yeah.
so that's gonna be kind of hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's true, but damn, man, you can't.
I would like to point out that Murray was the one that blocked LeBron's shot on that last one.
Yeah.
LeBron went like pump faked or pumped the ball down to pick it up, and Murray like basically held onto the ball, didn't let LeBron lift, and that was it.
Yep.
End the story.
Damn. And
But do you have? Oh, what are you gonna say?
yeah, I don't know what Darvin Ham was thinking the last couple of games. You have Mo Bamba that supposedly was rumored to be cleared, and healthy enough to play. You had Malik Beasley, and he never even played, and then sitting on the Denver bench, you had a great big backup big in Thomas Bryant, and he went to Denver because he wanted more money and more playtime. Since he's moved to Denver, he hasn't even played. He's played like at most, I bet, like 5 minutes, but I don't know if they had to move him because of cap space. Like, he was on a smaller contract anyway, so I'm not sure. Like, I like Thomas Bryant way more than Mo Bamba. But I don't even know if he would have made a difference. He's a good shooting big on the outside. I think, yeah, D'Lo, Dennis Schroeder. I mean, the number one culprit, LeBron, had horrible shooting for 3 out of the 4 games. The Lakers are just struggling to buy a basket. Man, it's just a shame. But I think most people underestimated the Denver Nuggets in this one. Like everyone in the media is always Lakers talk. Especially since we're in LA, we hear it all the time. Being a bigger market franchise, everyone wants to talk about the Lakers. People are sleeping on the number 1 seed, Denver Nuggets. They've been consistent all year, and I like them going into the finals. What do you think, Robert? You got any final thoughts on this?
I just like to point out that, yeah, you are right. A lot of people were in favor of the Lakers, but because, they were on a hot streak. I would say, besides maybe the 1 or 2 losses against the Warriors, the Lakers were on a hot streak. And on that hot streak as well, there was the stat floating around that the Nuggets had never really beaten the Lakers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So history was on their side. And I think everyone thought, and including myself, we predicted the Lakers to win.
Yeah. I think that was a bit of
to
hometown
steamroll the Nuggets. Well, dude,
no, you said
good.
steamroll.
No,
I said 6-2.
They look good.
Yeah, they did look good.
They look good. I'm like, why am I not going to go with the hot hand? The Nuggets were also hot, but the Lakers were wheeling and dealing. You could tell they were adjusting. They were, tightening things up when they needed to. Yeah. But what you saw with this Nuggets team instead was, with the Nuggets and the Lakers, was that the Nuggets had a through and through big who could take down AD very easily, by the way. No one could guard him. You have a big that he just does everything right. So we should not have expected the Nuggets to just fall over, but the Lakers were looking a little bit sexier. But the Nuggets just had I guess you could say a more rounded shooting team and I wouldn't say conservative defensive team, letting the Lakers try to make their shots, but getting rebounds, getting points in transition, or just getting the rebound, setting up their offense, and boom, 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 they get their shots on. They make their shots, I should say.
Yeah, I don't know how much like a month more of play together would have done this Lakers team, because this Denver team has basically been the same since early on in the season. I think other than Thomas Bryant, I mean, they still have Reggie Jackson in the back on the bench. He hasn't really played either. But a little bit more chemistry with this Lakers team. Hopefully they run it back with similar cast, maybe a couple pieces more, maybe another strong backup big would really help this team. Yeah, and I think they got great chemistry. I'm still questioning Darvin Ham, why he made subs here and there. Troy Brown Jr., he should have been in there a little bit more. I think he was right not to play William Gabriel. He's a little bit more of a liability, but you're lacking 3-point shooting. Why the hell didn't you put in Malik Beasley, who you picked up only for 3-point shooting? You know what I mean? Like, you lost all these players because you wanted more shooting. You got more shooting. You got a little bit more passing with D'Lo, but D'Lo wasn't making a difference. So you pumped the brakes on him. You put in Rui a little bit more. Play with Schroeder, and it still didn't work out. Okay, try something new. You're losing the game anyway. Put in Malik Beasley. Even in garbage time, he didn't even really get much time. But who knows? Maybe there's something in the locker room that we aren't hearing about. But
maybe, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Denver looks so strong after this. Jamal Murray on fire. KCP, former Laker, looking so good. Aaron Gordon as a big guy. I think he's going to be a big mismatch for Miami.
Michael Porter Jr. is playing good.
Yeah, he hits
Bruce
big
Brown's
shots.
Playing good.
Bruce Brown is playing amazing, impacting. Even when he doesn't have the ball in his hand, on the defensive end, pushing in transition, he's been great. Jeff Green, when they play small ball, as a replacement for Jokic, he did pretty good against AD, admirably. Yeah, and then still they got Reggie Jackson. Haven't really seen him. They got Thomas Bryant, another great backup big that they should be playing him more against Adebayo to give Jokic those good resting minutes. Yeah.
Say Bryant?
Thomas Bryant. Yeah.
Okay.
Remember Thomas Bryant?
Nope.
From earlier this season when AD was injured. Thomas Bryant.
He plays for the Nuggets now?
Yeah, he got traded to the Nuggets from the Lakers. They're at the trade deadline.
Not even on here. I think you're chipping fool. He's not even
no,
on
he
here.
is.
I'm looking at.
He hasn't played, but he's on there.
All right.
He's on the roster, trust me.
Alrighty then. But do you have anything else to say in regards to the Nuggets' swift defeat of the Lakers?
No, I mean, hindsight is 20/20, but it was to be expected. If you're really looking at, the stats of who's won in the past, I think every single NBA champion has been someone who's won more than 50 games, has won more than 50 games, is in the top 3 of their conference, and has at least an MVP caliber player. So I think the Denver Nuggets are the only team. Miami Heat, they have an MVP caliber player in Jimmy playoff Jimmy Buckets. Let me clarify, but they're the 8th seed. They haven't been this great the whole season. I think they might be able to steal a couple games, but I think the Nuggets got this. Sorry, jumping ahead a little bit.
No, it's all good. But let's move on to the Eastern Conference, where we had a little bit of a different situation. We almost had a sweep as well. However, in this best of 7 series, the Miami Heat were the victors over the Boston Celtics. However, in this story, the Miami Heat went up 3-0. Then the Celtics won 1. Then they won 2. Then somehow they were able to win themselves a third game and got ourselves to Game 7 in Boston. However, the Heat were able to hold them off. And yeah, I mean, I know we've mentioned this before. Jimmy Butler is just on a different level. They're doing it the old school way. You got your main guy in the supporting cast.
Yeah.
No super team. You know.
I mean, arguably, they got Bam Adebayo, another all-star caliber player. You know.
Oh
So
no,
you
yeah,
got
he's
two
really
guys.
good too. But I mean, like, who's the poster boy that you're seeing everywhere?
It's Jimmy Butler.
It's Jimmy.
It's definitely Jimmy.
So, in regards to that, yeah, I guess you could say by default it's the Jimmy Butler show.
Yep.
But what do you have to explain to our listeners in regards to this series that, for some strange reason, just would not end?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about, early on in the season, the dialogue about the Miami Heat who were struggling was, they ran it back with, almost entirely the same cast. They lost PJ Tucker, and they weren't doing so hot, right? And no one at the beginning of the season expected them to be in the NBA Finals. I think everyone's been saying that, but they had somehow everybody on the team be playoff Jimmy. All of a sudden, the playoffs are here. The energy changes, and everybody is shooting well now. All of a sudden, especially Caleb Martin, even with the absence of Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin stepped up. Gabe Vincent has stepped up. Duncan Robinson came back. All of a sudden, Kevin Love has been great impact for the games that he's been in, despite his recent injury. They just meshed, together. Pat Riley and Spoelstra, they have a system there. They believe in their players, and I think they choose players with a lot of scrappiness, players who have a drive despite, media talking, despite, being down and out. They pick these players that have a dog in them so that they know no matter what, like people criticize AD, people criticize Russ. I think Russell Westbrook got an incredible amount of hate, and he still has that dog in him. But I think Miami Heat focuses on those players like Russ, who, in the limelight, they can endure being shit on for X amount of time, and they know when the light's brightest, as long as you make that shot and you've kept your head down, and you put trust in your players and the team, it's gonna work out well. And that's what Miami Heat showed in the first 3 games. They had lockdown defense. They forced the Celtics to take dumb, ugly shots, poor shot selection. They forced them off of the 3-point line somehow. And really exposed how the Celtics were just a poor shooting team if they weren't hitting those threes. But then, the Celtics flipped the switch as well, and they flipped it on them. All of a sudden, they hit those threes. They were finding those pockets, and they were playing Miami's game. This is I think we talked about this similarly in the play-in, where the Hawks did the same thing. They imitated the lockdown, full court defense of the Miami Heat, transition offense, making sure you push the ball, get those easy buckets, really maintain your shot selection to, if you're struggling, get easy baskets, watch it go in, and then slowly build up your confidence so that, the lead doesn't get away from you. The Celtics really did a good job of that up until Game 3. I think Game 3 was a mess. Game 6. Game 6 was a huge mess on both ends. Miami almost put them away, right? Boston goes on a crazy run and is able to steal it away with a pretty controversial putback by Derek White with 3 seconds left and not 2.1 or 2.9 or whatever.
It was like 2.7.
Yeah, whatever anyone, 2.6, whatever anyone wants to call it. This controversial extra time on the clock. But, they got to Game 7, and I was watching the post game interviews for that game 6, and Jimmy and Spoelstra, they said they wish they could play again right then and there, game 7, because they know they would crush the Celtics. And I think they're that kind of team. They take losses to heart, and they really do their best to bounce back with energy. But sometimes when it rains, especially with the Boston Celtics, those 3-pointers don't stop coming. But it's the same for the Heat. Those two teams are very similar teams where they score in bunches, and especially for the Heat, when Duncan Robinson gets hot, when Gabe Vincent gets hot, it's just fire. It's a firestorm, and it's hard to throw some water on there, because you douse one guy, and then Jimmy Butler has the ball. He pokes it away in transition, and gets an easy transition point. They've got great defenders, and this is something that we definitely would not have said early on in the season. In the first half of the season, this was not the same Miami Heat team. I don't know what inspirational speech, motivational speech that went on in the locker room for the playoffs, but they should be selling it, because it is crazy the transformation that the Miami Heat had from the play-in when they lost against the Hawks to now. It is incredible how they've turned these things, or how they turned the team around. Because that loss to the Hawks was pretty ugly. A team, as a Hawks fan, admittedly, the Heat have our number almost every single time. Especially last year, the Heat took the Hawks out 4-1 in convincing fashion. That team is a team that is playing in this year's playoffs. The team that took out the Hawks and just barely lost to the Celtics last year in a Game 7 Eastern Conference Series is the team that's playing today, but slightly improved. They swapped Kevin Love in for... they swapped Kevin Love in the absence of PJ Tucker, and I think they've done well for it. Gabe Vincent became that energy guy that PJ Tucker was. Kevin Love provides a little bit more 3-point shooting with better passing. He's a little lacking in defense because of his age and how he moves, but this team is just incredible. Riding behind Jimmy, it seems like they're unstoppable, but to me, they're still the underdog in this fight. As the 8th seed, they're a little smaller. Let me back up. We haven't even talked about Bam Adebayo. As a big, Bam Adebayo started this series really slow, and that he found his rhythm against the bigger Robert Williams III, and he showed that he is a better big. Similar to, a la my Hawks. Clint Capella, a smaller big, is able to rebound still, put back, get to the line. Bam Adebayo is, definitely a better shooter than Clint Capella. He showed that he was a better shooter than Robert Williams. He did great, and both Jimmy and Bam are gonna have to do great, at least 20 points a game, if they ever want to win one game and take one away from Denver. But what did you think about this series, Robert?
I mean, it didn't make no sense. I thought we were gonna get sweeps on both sides, in the West and the East, and then the Celtics get the first one. Then I thought maybe they were gonna close out on the second one. Then the Celtics are talking about, dude, we're gonna take them all the way to Game 7. I'm like, the hell is going on out here? I'm like, there's no way that these guys are gonna pull it off. But then Tatum gets it going, Hartford gets it going, Smart is making good shots. What's this other
Marcus
name?
Smart.
Derek White played very influential in Game 6 as well. So, they started getting some help off the bench, and and the supporting cast as well. So, I don't know, the Celtics seem to somehow got a spark going, or did the Heat just fall asleep? Because even looking at the Game 7 stats, the starters were going pretty well. It's just that Miami just had better firepower with their starting and their shooting. So it's like, dang, what do you guys got to do to keep up? Because, I mean, the scoreline in Game 7 was 103 to 84. Cause besides that, the past 3 games where the Celtics were winning were somewhat close games. It wasn't like
other
the Heat
than
were getting blown. I think maybe the first one.
Yeah, then the first
where they
elimination
got-
in Game 4.
Yeah, so it was like, okay. Like, what you guys know what you have to do. And, yeah, I think you're right. Eric Spoelstra probably said best, yeah, like, we could beat them right now. Like, let's just do it right now. And look what happened. I mean, I'm even surprised. That's what I'm saying. The scoreline is surprising. They beat them by, nearly 20 points, if my math is not wrong.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean,
they turned it on somehow.
Yeah. The Heat, I think they do well when the ball is moving, and everyone gets to eat a little bit.
That's true. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but if the Boston Celtics aren't hitting threes, it just seems like they have no offense. It's rare for them to get into the paint. Malcolm Brogdon, I think, kind of fell in this series. He, as a 6th man, he didn't really show up. He is supposed to be that guy to handle the ball, to make the passes where, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can't create some offense. He's supposed to be the guy that creates that offense for them. But he kind of disappeared this series. I'm not sure what's going on, but I think Boston is in for a hair of change. I don't think they're going to separate Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But in the last 3 games that they won, games 4, 5, and 6, they shot well. Nearly everyone was shooting 50%, 50% or above, except for in that game 6 where Jason Tatum was shooting poorly but still had 31 points. But in that last game, Jaylen Brown shot 34%, Jason Tatum 38%, Al Horford 37%. Everyone shot except for Robert Williams, who only makes a couple buckets. Everyone shot under 50%. It was just a poor showing for the team, and it showed. Everybody on the Miami Heat seemed to shoot above 40 to 50%. Jimmy Butler 28 points, Caleb Martin 26 points, and Gabe Vincent with some big threes. I mean, their defense was also way better. The Celtics just looked lost, and I don't know if damn, what's their new coach's name? God, I almost said Ime Udoka.
For the Celtics?
Yeah, for the Celtics. God damn it, I forgot his name.
Why are you forgetting, bro? You should already know this, bro. You're a podcaster, bro.
I know. God, it just escapes me. Boston Celtics.
His name is Udoka.
Ime Udoka. Right.
Yeah.
Is that right? Was that right? Coach? Joe Mazzulla. Ime Udoka is the guy who got fired for fucking with the staff. Literally. It's Joe Mazzulla.
Oh, that's why I'm like, my spell check for synergies input, Celtics head coach fired. Joe Mazzulla, yeah.
No, it's Ime Udoka who got fired.
Yeah, and Joe Mazzulla is the current head coach of the Celtics.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know what adjustments Joe Mazzulla should have made. The Celtics are a deep team, but I think playing against such a hot and quick team in the
I gotta stop you there.
What?
Why are you changing your tune?
What do you mean?
When they were playing the 76ers, you said the Celtics are not a deep team.
Oh, wait for me to say my point. Jesus, fuck.
All right.
They're a deep team when it comes to threes, right? You got Peyton Pritchard in the back. You got Sam Hauser. New Cornette puts up a couple of threes. But when they get hot, they get hot. But those guys don't get consistent minutes, and especially when the lights shine brightest, it's really tough for them to get going, especially against bigger teams. The Celtics are long, lanky. They like to have, Marcus Smart bothering the offense of the other team. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum heading their offense, making a lot of shots here and there. But when those two guys are gone, only in that game 6 did Derek White step up. Marcus Smart, he'll hit some shots here and there. Sometimes he'll be on fire from 3, but they needed another guy. Grant Williams disappeared. This whole run, he's kind of been really in and out. I think other than that game 4 comeback, he hasn't really been much of a factor.
Help.
Really. Ever since he teased, he poked the bull in Jimmy Butler.
He poked the bear.
Exactly, he poked the bear. Well, I mean, we say that
Whatever
for the Grizzlies.
Whatever your ferocious animal.
Yeah,
you like. He poked whatever.
What do they got in South Beach? He poked the shark, I guess.
He poked the Bigfoot.
Poked the alligator.
Oh, there you go, the alligator.
Poked the gator. Yeah, but Grant Williams wasn't there. He was a big factor in the Celtics run last year when they made it to the finals. He really bothered Draymond. He was good at making himself a factor as a defensive and as an offensive guy, hitting those threes. But this year they pick up Malcolm Brogdon for a little bit more offense, so that I think they picked him up. I think they picked him up so that Grant Williams could be that defensive nuisance that he should be, and that he wasn't. Malcolm Brogdon didn't step up to his role in this series either, as a facilitator, as someone who can create holes in the defense, pass out, and get guys great shots. It kind of just faded away. I mean, I think Jason Tatum kind of showed, he's not going to fade away. Jaylen Brown showed they won't fade away, but they're still young. They've done a lot for their age, and I think the Celtics are good for next year. I don't know what personnel changes they're going to make, or roster changes, but I feel they need a couple other pieces to truly be a dominant team inside and outside of the playoffs. During the regular season, they did great, but in the playoffs, it kind of showed where Jason Tatum kind of fails. It's hard to find another guy to step up. It's tough to ask Jaylen Brown to drop 40 when Tatum's not doing well. And those other guys need to be in double digits every night, even when Tatum's doing bad, for them to be able to win.
Yeah, he got no help at all.
Yeah, exactly. But all of a sudden, near the end of the series, especially in Game 7, the Celtics all of a sudden forgot that, what worked well for them was to pass the ball, get the ball to the best shot, and take the shot, right? In this Game 7, it was like they're playing playground ball. It was ISO ball. It's like they were in the gym. I go to LA Fitness, and they, excuse me, that's how they played. It's like the first person to bring the ball up to the half court looks for their shot and really nothing else. Nobody passes the ball. Everyone's standing still. No one's moving off ball. No one's really setting screens. Credit to the Miami defense. Their defense kind of forced the Celtics to think that their screens weren't doing anything. They were switching. They were not switching. They were playing man. They were playing zone, and nothing was working. I think that's a sign and a credit to how the Miami Heat played their offense and defense to really pick apart, every Celtics game plan, and they had no adjustment to it.
I could have never said it better myself. But I would also like to quickly point out that the Heat still do not have Tyler Hero. Yeah,
he's expected and likely to make a return for Game 3. Exactly.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah, but no, fuck him. I don't want the Heat to win. I hope he stays out.
Wait, what?
No.
All right. Anyways, we'll get to that later. So we gotta get to the nitty gritty now, Danny. We've discussed how they got here, kinda.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go into the main bouts of the next, from the 1st to possibly the 18th. So like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yep.
So for possibly the next 2 weeks, we'll be having the number 1 Denver Nuggets of the Western Conference going up against the 8th seed of the Eastern Conference, Miami Heat, in the best of 7 series, which will be taking place on your local ABC network or ESPN app, whatever you prefer. And yeah, we should be in for a good game. Here at this time, we're gonna kind of dive into how can each team win, and also kind of point out some competitions or 1v1s that may arise in this matchup. So first off, just to point out once again, Game 1 will be Thursday, June 1st, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, in Denver at Ball Arena. You can catch that on the ABC Network or ESPN app. Or if you're desperate, I think you can catch it on, was it Fubo TV or whatever?
I have no idea.
Yeah, mostly on ABC Network. But yeah, so Game 1 there. Game 2 will still be in Denver, 8 p.m. Eastern, June 4th. And then we will have Nuggets at the Heat, Wednesday, June 7th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Then Game 4, Friday, June 9th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And if necessary, somehow, we'll have games on Monday, June 2nd, Thursday, June 15th, and then finally Game 7, if we get there, will be Sunday, June 18th. So, Danny, first off, let me read you some stuff because we want to go in first on the Denver Nuggets on how they may win this bout, in which we have the top-seeded Denver Nuggets headed to their first ever NBA Finals in franchise history, facing off against the old little 8th-seeded Miami Heat, who had to surge back through the play-in tournament. The Nuggets have scored 119.7 points per possession over their 15 playoff games. That's the most efficient offensive team has had through 3 rounds of the playoffs in the last 6 years. It's going back to the Cavs scoring 122.1 through 3 rounds in 2017. They've done it against the defense's best ranked team, 10th, 7th, and 12th in the regular season. In the conference finals, Denver scored 15.8 more points per 100 possessions than the Los Angeles Lakers had allowed through the first 2 rounds of 106. The Nuggets ranked 3rd in these playoffs in effective field goal percentage, 55.9. They're also 1st in turnover rate, having committed just 11.7 per 100 possessions, down from 14.7, 23rd in the regular season. Their assist/turnover ratio of 2.27 is the second best mark for a playoff team with at least 10 games played in the last 25 years. The best mark, which is 2.45, belongs to the 2019 Nuggets, and the third best mark of 2.22 belongs to the 2021 Denver Nuggets. So, basically, in short, the Nuggets know how to put up numbers in consistent fashion, which is why, once again, they were able to steamroll over the Lakers, who, even though the Lakers kind of handled the Nuggets well, the Nuggets were able to be more consistent than their counterpart. And once again, you have Jokic, who he can pass, he can shoot, he can do anything on the court, practically. He can rebound, he can block. He basically leads the team on almost every category offensively. But now he just has a better supporting cast, as we've mentioned prior. So I'm seeing this Nuggets team being very well rounded. What do you think about this Nuggets team, and what do you think they have to do to get the victory over the Miami Heat?
Yeah, I mean, this is a excuse me, it's a Jokic and Murray show, but everyone else has to contribute their numbers. KCP has to be great on defense and provide those 3-pointers and those shots when the offense is struggling. Michael Porter Jr., 3-and-D, another 3-and-D type of guy. Aaron Gordon, I think, is going to be huge. I don't think Miami has anyone that wants to guard him. And just overall, the Denver Nuggets are a bigger team. They're a blocker team, but they're a little slow-footed. So the Denver Nuggets need to play a little fast, or force the Heat to play slower, so that they're more successful. I think the Denver Nuggets have a better half-court offense. I think Jokic's passing is going to be so critical. If the Heat are able to bother him, which I don't think they will, they have to stop him from passing. If I'm the Heat, just like I think I said the same thing for the Lakers, I want Jokic to score 50 and stop everyone else from scoring. Right? I want to lock down Jamal Murray. I want to lock down everyone else, keep them under double digits, and you'll win the game by locking Jokic down. He's such an offensive threat. You need to give him free reign and stop him from passing, and stop everyone else in the offense from contributing. I think that's really the only way that the Heat win, other than playing out of their minds fast, playing crazy defense, forcing the Nuggets to play at their pace, tiring them out. But I don't think that the Heat can sustain that kind of play. So I think the Denver Nuggets, as the bigger team, the longer team, I think they got it in the bag, really.
Oh, okay. Who do you think, besides Jokic or Murray, will be a benefactor for the Nuggets? I know we have Aaron Gordon, for example.
Yep.
Who might have to play well against Jimmy Butler, for example. But who do you think will be a benefactor for the Nuggets?
Yeah. Other than Jamal and Jokic, like I said, KCP, Aaron Gordon, I think would be huge as someone who I don't think has a good matchup. Because they got to stick Bam to Jokic. They have to have. I think they're gonna have Jimmy on Jamal Murray. Trying to think who.
I mean, Gordon held his own against LeBron. You saw that in Game 4. They literally got into a scuffle because they're both holding on to each other, and LeBron wasn't taking that shit, and Gordon wasn't taking that shit like the fuck.
Yeah. I mean,
so if we're gonna see Gordon versus Butler, we're gonna see a good pound for pound, left for right fight in the paint, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is that not a good analogy? A boxing analogy for you there?
That's amazing, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, who else do you think is that should be popping off here?
For Denver?
Let me go over the list for you.
Michael Porter Jr. for sure. KCP. I mean, their rookie Christian Braun has been great. Bruce Brown, I think, is going to be as the energy provider on the floor defensively, and in offensive or transition in offense. He really needs to be on top of his game. He needs to be disruptive, poking the ball away. Because when Miami is disruptive and they're able to get steals, able to force you to turn over the ball, that's when they play their best. When they're able to get defensive stops, they're able to carry that energy into the offense. So if you're able to do the same thing to them, disrupt them, I think it'll really slow their offense down, force them not to play at pace, speed your team up, and get you guys to be taking up crazy shots, walk up threes. I think Bruce Brown, I'll say Bruce Brown, that'll be my pick. Bruce Brown has to be huge this series.
I have him on my list as well.
Yeah.
I was going to say Michael Porter Jr.
Oh, of course, yeah. Michael Porter Jr., yeah. I think he just needs to shoot consistently. If he shoots above 50%, and, can get into double digits, let's say 3/4 of the game, they'll be in good shape. I think KCP is going to do what he does. steal machine. Um, he does the little things to disrupt defense. He's calling the shots when they're on defense. He knows when to switch. He knows when to come up to the perimeter. He knows when they're gonna try to drive and fade back. KCP I think is crucial to stop Jimmy. I don't know if they're gonna put him on Jimmy.
Probably not. I mean, they'll probably switch.
He's a little small.
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna see that matchup a lot. By the way, Porter Jr. In the season shot 48.7% from the field.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I think I see them putting KCP on Gabe Vincent, I guess. Yeah, maybe he'll switch between Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of an advantage for the Heat. They're a little smaller, they're a little quicker. As defenders, you've got KCP, you got Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown is a little slower. He's a little bigger, but the Heat have a lot of smaller guys who are quick on their feet, able to get around players. They're not scared to drive the ball in. Move off ball so that they're able to hit an open three when it's their time. They're going to be doing their best impression of kind of Golden State basketball, where they're setting screens, moving around so that someone's open for that 3-point ball. I think the Miami Heat do it a little more efficiently in their own style, where not everybody is moving back and forth, and it's not a crazy run-around game that Steph Curry and Klay play. But it's going to be tough to keep up with those guys when they're trying to get their guys open for three. But I think, then again, that size is a disadvantage. You got Bam as a big, Kevin Love, yes. But Kevin Love's not driving the ball anymore.
Yeah, he didn't even play in the last game.
No. Cody Zeller is a little bit of a bigger guy, but it's tough to get in and penetrate, especially with Jokic at the center, to penetrate this Denver Nuggets defense. Yeah, they got Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon. When he crashes, he's hard to stop. And Aaron Gordon, as a bigger guy, when he gets a head of steam and attacks the rack, it's hard to stop him without fouling. And I think Bam Adebayo is gonna be real careful not to get into foul trouble early on, because I bet that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna have Jokic and Aaron Gordon attack him, try to rack up those fouls, get them to sit out early, do their work early on so that they can try to put this Heat team away. And if they try to come back, hopefully there's a big enough deficit so that the Nuggets are able to hold them off. But yeah, I think on the coaching side, I think Mike Malone does a great job adjusting. He kind of showed that in the Lakers series, where the Lakers really did have their number, in a lot of these games. In Game 3, the Lakers came back, but Mike Malone made small adjustments. He had Jokic kind of do his own thing, but directed other players around him so that when Rui is bothering him or he's not able to get his shot off, there was a great passing option. There's someone cutting on the backside, losing their defender. And Mike Malone, I think, makes those great little adjustments. But on the flip side, Coach Spoelstra, he makes those great defensive adjustments that sometimes seem weird for a couple of plays, and then he switches up a couple of plays later, and then another couple of plays later. He switches from man to zone. He switches to like a mini triangle, and really forces your offense to think about how to react rather than running their play. It's going to be a tough matchup, I think, for the Heat, just because of how big Jokic is in the center. And if the Denver Nuggets are able to play perimeter defense well, which I think they do play well with KCP up top, maybe they get some young legs in there with Christian Braun. I think looking at the roster now, I think the Nuggets got it. Jamal Murray's not a slacker.
Your predictions towards the end of the show, please.
No, I can't. I've said it like 6 times already.
All right, we get it. You like the Nuggets.
I like the Nuggets for it. What about you, Robert?
Which
What
one
do
do
you
you
think?
like? Well, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to say
Ah,
who I
come
think is gonna
on.
win. But I want to
Go
know
on.
before we wrap up. I want to start wrapping up the Nuggets portion of the show. Can you now go into detail on why you think Jamal Murray will be a huge factor in this game? Will he be a superstar after this finals, win or lose?
Yeah, I think Jamal Murray showed he's great off the screen. He's great attacking the rack. He's not afraid, despite his previous injury. And facing a smaller guy in Bam Adebayo after getting used to playing around AD, um, I think he might get a little more frustrated because the Miami Heat defense is uh, a little tighter than the Lakers, but he can get into his little passing game, threatening the three, threatening his shot, threatening a quick floater, and passing to a cutting player. I think he might be a assist machine, or they might sub in Reggie Jackson to be that assist machine when Jamal Murray's not having a good offensive night, and then putting him back in so he can catch fire. I think Jamal Murray, he's just great at putting up quick shots, and he's got a little bit more body to him. So when he attacks the rack, he knows that he can draw a foul. He knows that he has the strength to finish. He's gonna be huge, just as an offensive threat. Just like Nikola Jokic is. When the ball is in his hand, you don't know what he's gonna do. He can pass the ball. He can drive it. He can shoot it from wherever he wants. They're such a threat that they command the defense to crash onto them. I think that the Heat are in trouble if they double Murray. You double Murray, one of these switches is going to leave Jokic open. And if Jokic isn't open, then you've got a great shooter in KCP outside. You got Michael Porter Jr. outside possibly. Bruce Brown, another, he's not a horrible shooter. And all three of those guys can be subbed in for a handful of other guys. Jeff Green, who's able to finish. Aaron Gordon, let's not forget. He's always cutting to the rim. It's just a threat of the Jamal Murray shot that can really affect the Miami defense.
Well, alrighty then. Do you have anything very small to add in regards to why you think the Nuggets are going to win?
No, you move on to the Heat or no?
Yeah, are you ready? All right, you ready to
go ahead.
turn the flames up? All right, moving on to the Heat now. The 8th seed, as I mentioned, one of the first 8th seeds. I mean, I think what I have here.
I think they're the second.
Let me see. Heat will look to claim their their franchise's 4th title after falling short in the 2020 finals inside the Orlando bubble, in which they lost to Los Angeles Lakers, in which I recall saying Butler looked exhausted, but hopefully this time around he's prepared. Yeah, I would say, as you kind of mentioned prior in the show, Miami was not expected to get anywhere near this point, considering their opening loss to the Atlanta Hawks in the first game of the play-in tournament. And since that loss, though, the Heat have gone 13-6 in the postseason, capped off by their Game 7 rout against Boston very recently, as of this recording. And finally getting to the stat I've been trying to find, the Heat are only the second team in NBA history to advance to the finals as a number 8 seed. The Heat rank 6th defensively, 111.5 points allowed per 100 possessions in the playoffs, having faced 2 offenses, those of the Knicks and the Celtics, faced 2 offenses then ranked in the top 5 in the regular season. The Heat themselves ranked 3rd in the regular season in opponent turnover rate. In the playoffs, Jimmy Butler has 10 more steals, 35 of them, than anybody else. So the Heat, as you've kind of mentioned, have a very tall task ahead of them, considering I've also mentioned that the Nuggets have just been very consistent, and the Heat have, kind of had to claw their way out of a hole that they seem to dig themselves in each time. I know at some point during the recordings of this podcast, I have mentioned that I thought the Heat were a weak team. I know I betted against them, not literally, but verbally, that thinking that the Knicks were going to give it to them, which they kind of did, but as Julius Randle said, the Heat wanted it more, and which is what is happening right now. They want it more. They're desperate. They're clawing. They're salivating at the mouth to, get their next championship. And I think Butler really wants to do this. But Danny, do you think Jimmy Butler has a good enough supporting cast to get them where they want to be, which is holding that NBA Finals trophy?
I think they can take a couple games. I think Bam Adebayo has a good shot of providing some offensive relief when Jimmy Butler isn't able to get there. And they do have a lot of great, perimeter shooters. Kevin Love as a big guy, perimeter shooter. Tyler Hero, if he's able to come back, able to take a shot anywhere from the floor. Kyle Lowry, the same. Not the great flash that he once was, but Caleb Martin has been amazing. Duncan Robinson, a great knockdown shooter, especially in these last playoff games. Max Strus, great from beyond the arc. Gabe Vincent has shown that he's been great as well. But, it just seems like a tall order to face this bigger Nuggets team. They got these smaller guys who are able to move around, but, with Kevin Love being store-footed, Bam Adebayo is not the quickest big guy. But neither is Jokic, So it might be a better matchup than I'm thinking. I think since 2016, the Denver Nuggets have beaten the Miami Heat every time that they've met in the regular season. It seems like they're able to adapt to the Miami offense as well. But, they haven't played playoff Jimmy yet, and especially in this stage where Jimmy Butler is probably going to be the brightest that he can ever be. It'll be amazing to see if Jimmy Butler as himself is able to drop 40. And with the supporting cast, if Jimmy Butler is dropping 40 every game, I think it'll be tough for the Nuggets to respond. But it's going to be tough with, again, with that big, giant guy in the center. When you want to drive and force your shot up, it's going to be really tough against that big 7-foot guy standing in the paint.
Okay. Because I'm looking at what they got right now without Tyler Hero. I'm expecting someone like Victor Oladipo or Max Strus
Oladipo is still out. He's injured.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I'm just looking at the names right now. He is out for the season. You're right, correct.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have to look at Gabe Vincent. We're going to have to look at Caleb Martin. I don't know. Fuck it. Put it in Udonis Haslem.
Damn.
Is he still available?
Not touching the court. No, he is available, but he's not touching the court.
Yeah, he's older now. I think it's a couple years ago, 3-4 years too late. If hopefully Kyle Lowry can, I don't know, look in the mirror, dig deep down, and regain some of that confidence to be a benefactor again in the NBA in these games, when they count. Everyone was always talking about a couple years ago, playoff Rondo.
Yeah.
Well, where's playoff Lowry when he was with Toronto? So
yeah.
You have the experience. You have experience on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, they could turn it on and help out Butler. Cause if not, yeah, it's gonna be a sad, sad show. Like quick story time. I went to Danny's house. We were trying to watch the Nuggets play the Suns, in which halftime happened, and we didn't even bother to watch the second half because what did you say, Danny? You said this game is over. The fuck are we gonna watch this game for?
It was over at the half, exactly like you said. I think the Heat are a better team than the Suns when it comes to coming down from like a 15, 20 point deficit. But you never want to be in that position to begin with. It
Yeah,
takes a lot of
exactly.
energy to get back and scoring that many runs to get back from double digits. But the big matchup that most people are excited for, Nikola Jokic versus Nikola Jokic.
I know, I
Yo,
saw that too.
yeah,
But no,
so
the real matchup everyone's excited for is Jokic versus Adebayo,
yeah,
in which I've been seeing a video of Adebayo tearing up his T-shirt the last time they were in the playoffs, and they're like, if they win it, this is going to be the documentary, the beginning of that documentary.
oh yeah, most
Him
definitely,
tearing up his jersey,
yeah,
but then them lifting up the trophy at the end.
yeah,
And also, I see another video where I forgot who it was. Someone's trying to hand Butler the Eastern Conference trophy, and he was like, "Nah, I want the real one."
yeah, yeah. I think Jimmy said in his post game interview, he's like, this is nice, but we still got to win 4 more. That mentality of it's not over until we get the chip is what they need.
And sometimes in basketball, some people like to refer to that as Mamba mentality.
Yeah, Mamba mentality.
It's
Get the
it's
Kobe
that
mindset.
hunger, that venomous strike in you that's just like, nah, we gotta focus here.
Yeah,
Or you're Michael Jordan. We're trying to win now, motherfucker.
yeah. Jamichael Butler. Have you seen that? Have you seen
No,
Jimmy Butler is he's playing like Mike, so I say Jamichael Butler.
bruh.
No,
But yeah, basically same thing. You want to win now, not later, and you want to win the whole thing, not just 98% of it. But yeah, like I said, I'm looking at the supporting cast. Hopefully, they're gonna have to turn it around hard. 'Cause if not, they're gonna look silly like how they did against the Celtics, who slowly built up their offense. But in this case, I would say the Nuggets already have a solid offense. I would like to point out though, the Nuggets have not played since the 22nd. That's the only difference. May that affect them now because they've had too long of a break? Who knows? We have to wait and see. But yeah, I really do hope that the Nuggets, the Heat, find a way to hold down the Nuggets, I guess is what I was trying to say. But yeah, I think I don't know. Do you have anything else to say in regards to the Nuggets possibly winning the NBA Finals?
yeah. Do you want to give your game winning predictions? How many games is it? Who it goes to?
No, we're not there yet.
What are you talking about?
What are you doing, bro? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we are kind of there yet.
Yeah, it literally is the last thing.
But first off, let me kind of build it up. If I could have a
Go ahead.
imaginary drum roll.
Brrr.
So, this NBA Finals, we will have the Denver Nuggets versus the Miami Heat in the 2022-2023 regular season series. Previously, in their 2 iterations against each other, the Nuggets beat the Heat in the 2 games they have faced each other in the regular season. Both games were decided by single digits. On December 30th, 2022, the Nuggets defeated the Heat 124-119. Then in February, on February 13th, 2023, the Nuggets won 112 over the Heat 108. In those matchups, on December 30th, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope led the Nuggets in scoring with 20 points, while Jokic recorded 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 assists. Triple-double, of course. Jokic was even better when the Nuggets and Heat met in February, posting 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists in a game in which Jamal Murray was sidelined with a knee injury. So now, as you alluded to so many times now, we are going to say who we think is going to win and what format that will be. And I would like to contest your constant cheering for the Nuggets and say, Let's go Heat. The heat is on, baby. I'm going with the Miami Heat to win this iteration of the NBA Finals. I predict them to win in 6 games due to the fact that the Nuggets are a formidable opponent. But I think the Heat are just going to have to, or they're going to slug it out. And the Nuggets are just not going to be able to operate correctly. As in, the Nuggets have been consistent, but I think the Heat are going to throw that hard monkey wrench into the system and just confuse and, tear them down little by little and make Jokic immobile. I did see in the series against the Lakers, especially in Game 4 in that first half, he looked exhausted. He looked gassed. If it wasn't for the halftime whistle, he probably wouldn't be standing. So I'm going with the Heat. I'm hoping, like I said, that their bench, Butler supporting cast, help them out as much as they can. If not, it will be a slow night for the Heat. That is my
You're absolutely
response.
insane.
Danny, please give your rebuttal.
You're crazy. You're not respecting the number 1 Denver Nuggets. They've got a pretty tight defense. They're a little slow-footed, but they're much bigger, especially the big guy in the center. Even if they don't have him in, they got Thomas Bryant as a big guy who's still bigger than Bam Adebayo. I think the Denver Nuggets they have them. They got great perimeter shooting to offset, the raining of threes that might come from the Miami Heat. They got great perimeter offense. They showed that against the Lakers, keeping them to below 20, 30% from 3 at times. But, yeah, I mean, I've said it the whole podcast. I like the Denver Nuggets in this. Have you said how many games?
Man. I got them in 6.
You got them in 6? You got Miami in 6?
Yes.
You're crazy. I got...
What are you? What you got?
I got Denver in 5. 5 games.
Denver
Gentleman
in 5.
sweep.
You're only giving them 1 win?
Giving them 1. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I'm expecting Tyler Hero to come back in Game 3 and give me his average 20 points per game. So...
Yeah, I mean, well, you got to keep in mind, he's coming back, but he's going to take, possibly a game and a half to get back into form.
I'm expecting him to be a professional, so...
I mean, all of them are professionals. All of them come back from injuries and have to work back into it. It's a tall order to have him come back into the finals and be able to perform at his peak.
Hey, you never know, man.
You're right.
He could just walk in the door and fuck shit up.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But
and then
I like
the Nuggets
Denver
are not going to know
Nuggets.
what hit them. So
Come on, the Nuggets know everything that's on that team. Come on now.
how do you know that? Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't. No. That's what I'm saying. They're going to throw a wrench into the system, and the Nuggets are going to be like, "What the fuck? Like, we don't know what to do here."
No, they know they're playing against Tyler Hero before. They played against teams with that guy. Or that archetype of guy, very much shifty. It's kind of what Kyle Lowry used to be, just in a smaller, slimmer package.
Okay, it's because you're making it sound like the Nuggets are gonna whoop their ass. When I just read you the last 2 games, they were single-digit losses.
They were close, but the Denver Nuggets are playing way better than they were playing in the regular season.
Yeah, but so are the Heat.
Yeah, so are the Heat, but at the same time, the Denver Nuggets also picked up Reggie Jackson. They tightened up their defense. They were able to lock down a great offensive team in the Lakers, who were the number 1 offense in the later half of the season, past the trade deadline. They were able to lock down Kevin Durant and Devin Booker when they were raining onto them with 30-plus points apiece. That this is a team that is able to bounce back in between games as well. So I still like them at 5. I'm not gonna say every game is gonna be a blowout for the Nuggets, but I like the Denver Nuggets in 5. They're able to put games away and come back when they're down.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see when they start getting the ball rolling.
Yes, sir.
All
We'll
right,
see.
Okay. All right, here we go. One more thing. Who do you think on your side will be the NBA Finals MVP, which I think I already know. I can already
Jokic,
think of
come
it
on.
in my head. I know that's a stupid question.
Come on.
Hey, but hey, we've seen the non-star players get the MVP. Who got it for the Warriors when they were tearing it up?
What do you mean? The Warriors when they were
When the-
tearing it up.
when they
KD
were
got it
winning the
twice. Curry got it this last time.
Who else got it though? Who was the odd man out?
It's the on man out. Oh, in the beginning, Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, Iguodala.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? No one was thinking that.
I mean,
When you
he
even
was an
had
impact player.
No, yeah, he was great. So I don't know. I mean, he gave it to Jamal Murray.
Yeah. Give it to Jamal.
If he plays a good all-around game. I mean, of course, it's gonna be hard to go up against those triple doubles, but
yeah.
if he's playing more defense, if he's playing more fundamentally, you never know.
Yeah. I mean, it could go to Aaron Gordon. If Aaron Gordon's dropping 25 points a game and is able to get, maybe 2 or 3 blocks a game, it could go to him.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
For the Heat, of course, you got Jimmy. If
You got
Tyler
Jimmy.
if Tyler Hero turns it on,
I mean,
I'll give it to him.
You're really discounting Gabe Vincent and what Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin have done in the past couple of series, to get them to this point. They've really stepped up where Tyler Hero has left a vacuum in his injury.
Yeah, let me finish,
It could
bro.
go to
I was
either
gonna
one of
mention
them.
bro.
Shut
Yeah, I know
up.
it could go to either one of them. Oh,
You weren't gonna
you're
mention
forgetting Adebayo. Come on, fool.
Oh, that's true. Bam Adebayo, I forgot. But
Look at you.
because he said Tyler Hero as a smaller guy.
You're trying, because he's shifty like that, bro.
Yeah, you're
Bro,
right.
he
is
literally
shifty
leads
like
the
that.
team in blocks.
Yeah. Yeah, but Bam Adebayo,
So-
I think he's averaging like 9.5 rebounds this playoff.
Yeah,
Serious.
9.2 according to ESPN.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my people who I would think. Of course, we have the star players that would get it, but those are my backups for the NBA MVP of the finals.
Mhm. Yeah.
But Danny, do you have anything else to add in regards to this matchup?
No, I think of the two of us, I think I have beaten this horse to death. I like the Denver Nuggets. I like the bigger, stronger team, and they can compete, beyond the arc. So I like the Denver Nuggets.
All right, for sure. And yeah, I really like the Heat. I like their aggression. I think the aggression that they had against the Celtics to fight back and to tame them was excellent. So I hope that they bring that same ruthless aggression against the Nuggets and tear them to pieces. But like I said, we'll just have to wait and see what waits at the end of this series. So that mostly wraps up everything, unless you have anything else to add, Danny. But I just wanted to ask you, unless we don't do another podium show or I forget to ask later on, what are you going to remember most from the NBA season so far, as we are now finally at the last series of the season?
Yeah, well, most definitely. If we're just talking playoffs, that Sacramento Golden State series, amazing. I think the Hawks had a good run against the Celtics despite losing. Really, that's it. The failures this season, the Sixers, big disappointment in my opinion. They should have been able to go farther. I think they would have handily taken down this Heat team and made their way to the finals, but was not the case. But yeah, in the regular season, it's already so far behind me. Can't even think of anything in particular. We had a lot of great performances, individual performances. Donovan Mitchell dropping 70 points. Dame with a handful of 60-point games. It's been a great season overall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what about
And,
you,
do
Robert?
I think mine, and I know I like the Lakers. I don't know what you want me to do with me. I admit, I think I've admitted it. I've said it lots of times. I haven't really followed them. It was hard after Kobe left. They started to suck. I didn't have Spectrum. It was hard to watch games. But, being able to semi-follow their journey into the playoffs was somewhat, exciting for me. and we were able to talk about it here on the Podium Show or in our regular podcasting series of episodes that people thought they were done after the All-Star break, and I kept telling you, I'm like, after the All-Star break, they got to turn it on. They got to turn it on. They got to make some moves. They move out a bunch of people. You get rid of Westbrook. You bring in D'Lo. I know he was cold this last series, but he helped re-spark the offense. Austin Reeves finally gets his shooting hand under him. Schroeder becomes a menace, and AD he becomes an artful glass fixture, and not just a Mr. Glass and topping over every single touch. And then LeBron just, I think he kind of ran out of gas at the end, but he showed you why he's still somewhat of the man in there in the paint when he starts dribbling and doing the old school way. So that was one of my favorite memories. Being able to follow Joel Embiid's journey to being MVP. Although they didn't get to the finals, I think they still had a really good season. I just happened to come across a guy from Philly the other day, and he was like, man, the 76ers suck. I'm like, no, they don't. It's just, they just need one or two pieces to get them over the line, and they'll get to the finals and possibly win.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think the 76ers were, a great team as well, like have you been saying. But, I think that's been some of my fondest memories.
Just the last one.
What?
LeBron becoming the all-time leading scorer.
That was
huge
exciting as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, that's probably the highlight, if nothing, of the entire series.
Yeah.
Or the entire season, I should say.
But I feel like we've had a good time here at Rambling Runoff covering the NBA, and hopefully, we do another Podium Show or talk about it on a regular pod about what's happening.
Yeah, most definitely.
And hopefully I'm right and you're wrong.
So, come on, shut up.
But I think that's everything for this Podium Show. Dan, do you have anything else to add in regards to the NBA Finals?
No, sir.
But
take us out.
That's all I got. Hopefully, we do another Podium Show, or like I said, I'm gonna say it once again. Just keep listening. We'll talk about what happens. But this was Rambling Runoff Podium Show NBA Finals. If you want to find us on the socials, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok sometimes, all at Rambling Runoff. If you've been listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It will help us out in the long run. If you're just listening to the regular audio on Spotify for podcasters, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us 5 stars, whatever liking format they have on their websites or the apps. Just do it. It will help us out. We appreciate it. But that's it. That's all we have for today. I've been your host, Robert Rios. For my co-host, Danny Tan. Go Heat. Go Nuggets. See you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.
Woo!